In October 1981, Mayor Ruth-Yannatta-Goldway and campaign manager Derek-Shearer traveled to Washington, D.C. to participate in a political program entitled Taking Charge, the Next 10 Years. The entire program, including the panel of so-called experts on which Goldway and Shearer appeared, was tape-recorded by the program's sponsors. This is Susan Rice, a longtime Santa Monica resident and the past president of the League of Women Voters of California. I have listened to the entire tape recording of this panel discussion, and I think it's important that you too have the chance to hear a few short representative excerpts. Listen to the tape and make your own judgment about Goldway and Shearer's ideas on running local government. Based on his role as campaign manager of the 1979 and 1981 Santa Monica municipal elections, Derek-Shearer outlined at the conference his approach to running a political campaign.
But you have to understand that political campaigns are not educational vehicles. You don't give people wonderful treatises on the nature of capital. You don't explain the finer workings of the contradictions of the international monetary system. What you do is play on their feelings and sentiments about what's going on in society.
Having stressed the importance of playing to people's fears and emotions rather than intelligently discussing and debating relevant issues, Mr. Shearer couldn't resist bragging about some of his more successful campaign tricks.
We sent out a postcard of an elderly family, somewhat haggard. They could have been, looked a little bit like an Auschwitz picture. Stamped across their chest were the words "evicted." And there was a message on the back from their son who said even though he'd voted for Barry Goldwater in 1964, he was so upset about these rapacious landlords and developers that he was voting for rent control, and he urged all these people to do the same. We found a senior citizen who was dying of cancer, who was being evicted. An article was written about him in the local paper. We reprinted the article. The headline was, "Before I die, I'm going to vote for Ruth-Yannatta and rent control." And we distributed that on the door of every tenant in the city 2 days before the election.
Misleading and deceptive campaign pieces are wrong and offensive to the voters, but the idea of using, as Mr. Shearer boasted on the recording, a dying person to further one's political ambitions is nothing short of despicable. Articulating another campaign ploy, Shearer, whose candidates try to avoid being recognized as soft on crime, cynically describes how he deals with the very serious issue of the fight against crime in Santa Monica.
We mailed out a little brochure on how to fix your locks, how to fix your doors, nice little pictures of locks and doors, which I want you to know I lifted entirely from a Rotary publication that the local police department had prepared for the Rotary Club. I just redid it and put our name on it as our anti-crime guidebook.
In 1981, Ruth Goldway and Derek-Shearer knew that rents would not go up 1 penny if the candidates they were opposing were elected to the City Council and the School Board, because rent control is a part of Santa Monica City Charter and is enforced by an independently elected rent control board. The fact of the matter is, only you and I, the voters of Santa Monica, have the power to change Santa Monica's rent control law. And yet Mr. Shearer proudly boasts of having fooled, and even worse, manipulated the feelings of the Santa Monica electorate in the 1981 campaign.
In this last election, we printed up a little notice that said rent increase notice, and it said if the conservative candidates supported by big real estate win this election, your rent will go up by $150. Signed, your landlord. And then, of course, you opened up and said, don't let this happen. Vote for the renters' rights slate.
Now, in 1983, Goldway and Shearer are up to their old tricks again, attempting to frighten and intimidate tenants into believing that rent control will be in jeopardy unless their political organization controls all 7 seats on the council. This campaign tactic ignores the long record of Christine Reed, Bill Jennings, and David Epstein, and defies logic, inasmuch as the City Council has no power to alter our city's rent control law. The real issue in this year's Santa Monica election is total control by one political organization versus balanced and diverse representation. Obviously, Ruth Goldway believes there is no room on her city council or among candidates and city employees for those who may seek to represent the views of minority groups.
Let me just caution you, though, to the lesson that Derek mentioned, that you don't want people just because of the color of their skin or their sex, if in fact they're likely to sell you out. And it is true that minorities and ethnics and women will vote for people like them and begin to compromise their politics in order to do that. We've been struggling with that issue in Santa Monica in terms of hiring somebody who's a woman versus somebody who has good politics, and where do you draw the line, and it's difficult for us. And the only way to solve it is for you to recruit people yourself who have good politics so that you're assured that the people who represent minorities are people who won't sell out.
As past president of the League of Women Voters, I have seen what happens when good citizens are silenced because they don't have what Ruth Goldway thinks are, quote, good politics. The net effect is always a frustrated and divided community, void of any meaningful dissent. April 12th is a crucial day for all of us in Santa Monica. We can vote for open government and balanced representation, or we can give Ruth-Yannatta-Goldway's council majority the total control it seeks. I hope you agree that no one group deserves total 7-0 control of our city government, and that you will join me and the All Santa Monica Coalition in supporting the re-election of council members Christine Reed and Bill Jennings and their running mate David Epstein. This message has been paid for by the thousands of Santa Monica tenants and homeowners who have contributed their time and money to the Reed, Jennings, and Epstein campaigns, and by the All Santa Monica Coalition. Tom Larmore, Treasurer.